Hey guys, this is Scott Johnston, producer for the Prepped and Polished podcast. I just wanted to take a few minutes and wish all of you a healthy and happy new year, and thank you for listening to the Prepped and Polished podcast last year. Also, wanted to let you guys know that you can vote for Prepped and Polished as part of a contest with Boston Magazine. They're looking for the best of Boston. All of the information is in the show notes, so if you would be willing to support Prepped and Polished in that contest, we would really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Now, on with the show.
Welcome to the Prepped and Polished podcast, the podcast that empowers you to take control of your education, featuring weekly interviews with influencers in the world of education, as well as tutoring tips, lessons, and updates. And now, here's your host, Alexis Avila.
Hey everyone, welcome to another tutoring tips episode of the Prepped and Polished podcast. Alexis Avila, your host of the Prepped and Polished podcast. Please be sure to check out our website, preppedandpolished.com, for more information. And while you're there, you can sign up for our free tutoring and test prep tips newsletter. It comes out monthly. And if you have any questions, you can always call us, 781-753-9951. You can join our Prepped and Polished community. You can find us on all the social media channels. For example, you can check us out on Instagram. The handle is Prepped and Polished 1. If you have a question during or after the show, email us at radio@preppedandpolished.com. We love hearing from you. Let's get right to it. It's episode 151, 5 tips for 12th grade success. So, senior year of high school. It's a really exciting time for seniors, but you don't want to get carried away in the social scene and think that you're all set and you're going to get into college. You still have work to do, and there's going to be some steps you're going to have to take to do well to graduate successfully. So this is what I recommend. Number one, I recommend getting good grades and showing leadership senior year, because colleges do look at senior year grades, and I know of some students who the colleges took away their admission when a student basically takes the year off and forgets about getting good grades. So you don't want that to happen to you, and you also want to get good grades senior year so you can have momentum going into college. I find that students who slack senior year will often slack come freshman year of college, and then they drop out. So you basically want to show some good leadership and show that you take your studies seriously. Number 2 for my 5 tips for senior year success is you want to take some standardized tests during the fall of senior year if you're not satisfied with your SAT or ACT score up to that point. So you have one more chance fall senior year to take the SAT, ACT if you need to. So feel free to study for that and try to get the best test score that you can. Step 3 or tip 3 of my 5 years for senior year success is try to get your college application essay out of the way by the end of August, preferably, or by September, because if you leave that essay till around Thanksgiving time, you're going to be stressed out trying to write essays and while everybody is passing the turkey around the dinner table. So you want to make sure you enjoy your holidays. You're also going to have a lot to do around the holiday time, and believe me, you're not going to want to have to write 5 essays around that time. So if you can try to get it out of the way at end of the summer, then you'll have plenty you'll free up some time for you to get your college applications out of the way too, because you're going to need to do those as well. My 4th tip for 12th grade senior year high school success is try to submit your college applications, obviously on time, but I recommend about a month before the deadlines, because I find that early bird gets the worm. These colleges are just basically trying to enroll, fill up their enrollment. So sometimes it works to your advantage if you get the application in a little on the earlier side, rather than just getting it on the day they recommend getting it in. So try to just really stay on top of your college applications and try to get them in a little early. That's what I recommend. And finally, tip 5 out of my 5 tips for 12th grade year success is I recommend that you make sure to pay frequent weekly visits to your guidance counselor, because that guidance counselor really holds the key to sending out. They're going to need to send out your letter of recommendations to colleges and transcripts. So and also use that guidance counselor to give you some really good advice about your school selection, and just try to make sure you partner with that guidance counselor, because that guidance counselor is going to have, if you go to a public school, it's probably going to have about 200 kids, and he's not going to come after you. All right, so I recommend trying to, on a weekly basis, just check in with your guidance counselor and just hold him or her accountable, and then he or she will do the same for you. So those are my 5 tips, for senior year success. Here's a brief recap. Make sure, number 1, you get good grades and show leadership senior year. 2, take that last SAT or ACT if needed, fall senior year. Tip 3, get your college application essay out of the way by end of August or early September. Step 4, try to submit your college applications about a month before deadlines. And finally, tip 5 is hound down your guidance counselor. So those are my 5 tips for senior year success. I hope you enjoyed them. This was episode 151. And be on the lookout for our next podcast episode. It'll be number 152. It's my interview with Dr. Chirag Shamasian on how college admissions committees evaluate the different parts of your child's college application and what you can do about it. And remember to access all of our podcast episodes. Go to preppedandpolished.com/podcast. Thank you for joining us on the Prepped and Polished podcast. Now go out there and take control of your education.
You've been listening to the Prepped and Polished podcast. For more information, check out preppedandpolished.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for listening. Class dismissed.